Okay, guys, so kind of a mind-bending development that's been happening the last several days is obviously the left wing's inability to distance themselves from terrorism. And with this has come a really interesting development that is the continued falling out of Ethan Klein and Hasan Piker. There was a falling out over communism that happened weeks ago, where it turned out that Ethan's podcast was actually filled with people who were communist, and there's a reason for that. It's not a coincidence. The reason is that the type of audience member that watched Ethan Klein's podcast was physically and psychologically degenerate and perverted, and so they were easy targets for the resentment of Marxism, which is why he subconsciously knew this, and so he teamed up with Hasan, who is self-admittedly degenerate, immoral, has supported terrorists in the past, even when they attacked America, and is essentially living constantly in fear of objective moral accountability and judgment, as well as scrutiny. So he teamed up with Hasan. Subconsciously, he knew that his audience was easily exploited by this degenerate Marxist ideology, since they're already somewhat Marxist. Marxism is defined by resentment. Resentment in the 21st century for various classes of identity, whether that be race, sexual identity, sexual attraction, anything else. So, and it used to be just economic disparities, but now it encompasses every single way a person can be identified. And the left organizes this into a hierarchy of victimhood status. H3 is realizing that he decided to make friends and business partners with snakes and vipers. People are starting to wake up. They're realizing that the radical left is thoroughly broken. Their brains are destroyed. It's no coincidence or random fluke that they can't condemn terrorism. What's happening here, and a lot of people are surprised by this. They think to themselves, why is the left divided on condemning terrorism? Because clearly much of the left is condemning the terrorism, and yet there are sects of it that aren't. The reason for this is because their philosophy, their ideology, has central axioms that say there's no such thing as truth and there's no such thing as objective morality. And the more brutally incoherent leftist, you can think of brutal incoherence as advanced stages of the woke mind virus. The left is defined by incoherence. Marxist ideology is incoherent. The presuppositions that leftists claim are true about the world are actually false. But there are elevations of this degeneracy. There's elevations of this delusion. And you can see some of this elevation and delusion separated in the falling out of these two degenerates. They're both leftists. They both hate reality. By the way, the reason I say that, the reason I call Ethan Klein and say that he's a degenerate is because he proved he was a degenerate thoroughly with his audience in front of millions of people when he repeatedly lied about Andrew Tate. The reason why he hated Andrew Tate is because every single way that Andrew Tate is impressive is a way that Ethan is a failure. Every single way. So he's a degenerate, Hasan's a degenerate, and their audience has this hate for reality. So that's the reason they teamed up. Now they're having a falling out, and Ethan is starting to realize that he essentially teamed up with a force from hell, which is archetypally the same as denying reality and inverting reality. This is the same reason. This is also why we see Hasan for the second time defending terrorists. The first time being on 9/11 when he said America deserved 9/11, and now when he's taking the side of Hamas. Everyone's clowning him, not just clowning him. Everyone's mocking him brutally. That I know is infuriating to him because Hasan matches the personality distribution of the dark tetrad. Except he has a moderately low IQ, and also I think he's high in neuroticism, meaning he experiences negative emotion at a high degree. So the dark tetrad, for those of you who don't know, is narcissistic, psychopathic, sadistic, Machiavellian. Sadistic, for those of you who don't know, just means takes pleasure in the suffering of others. So, look, you can see who's trending here. Ben Shapiro, Hasan, Jordan Peterson, Day of Jihad. Yeah, so the terrorists are claiming today is a day of jihad, which is essentially holy war against the infidels, is approximately what jihad means. But Ethan's been dealing with the fact that he decided to align himself with the most degenerate, incoherent, immoral forces on the planet. And he did this because of his own weakness. And here we have this other degenerate woman. I don't even know who this person is. I'm guessing she's a radical, degenerate feminist and also Marxist, definitely possessed by resentment, supporting Hamas, and on the left. So that tells me archetypally where we're operating from. And you can see here that the unserious nature of the left, especially when it's occupied by the degenerate feminine psyche, is very dangerous. Ethan Prob was like, damn, this Arab support Hamas. Ethan, I'll support the IDF, refollow me. See, they're not interested in ideas. Jordan Peterson cited an interesting bit of research recently, which was the willingness to abide by radical left-wing tyranny is defined by a low verbal IQ, a feminine temperament, and also being female. So the data correlates these variables very tightly with abiding with radical left-wing tyrannies. And here you see it manifested in front of you. Ethan is self-evidently a loser in every measurable category compared to Andrew Tate. So what did they do? They denied the existence of category. They denied the existence of truth. This is exactly in alignment with leftist philosophy. And Ethan's aware of this subconsciously, which is the reason why he aligned himself with a communist. And now he's paying the price as his previous friend and business partner is supporting a terrorist organization. For the second time, I'll keep reminding people. So a quick note on Hasan in this situation is he's lost basically all of his friends. This guy is isolated. Everyone on the left, as I'm about to show you, is essentially mocking him. All of the leftist slave minds that are even on Twitch are mocking him for this. So you can really see that he's isolated. Destiny is mocking him. He's a radical leftist, blue-haired, short beta freak, soy boy, hates intersexual dynamics, lets other men have sex with his wife. So he's really, really a leftist, hates reality. And even he's mocking Hasan. So Hasan has had this track record of, as psychopaths do, as I will add, of destroying all the relationships that they build with people, and they're parasitical. So they just move on. They extract what they want from the relationship, then they just move on from it. That's exactly what you've seen Hasan do. And here, like people are mocking him. Oh, another important aspect to Hasan is that because he's a psychopath and also low IQ, he isn't able to plan very well, and so he isn't able to anticipate being exposed repeatedly as fraudulent very accurately, and so this happens repeatedly. Ethan is realizing that the left doesn't care about anything that he says. They only care about demonization. So you can see that he's clearly waking up to the realities of the left-wing insanity, but he chose this. Now, Melina, this is Destiny's wife, the girl that Destiny lets other men have sex with. Just leftist things, I guess. Screenshotting a picture of Hasan's chat. There have been a lot of these pictures going on, but this is straight out of the pits of hell, guys. I want you to understand, this is straight out of the pits of hell. These people live ravaged lives without morality. They're constantly miserable and suffering as a result of resentment. That is what defines the left-wing position. So here you see, a common demonic person in Hasan's chat trying to suggest that that woman that was in the back of the terrorist's truck that was naked, that had been repeatedly raped and was being taken hostage, that she wasn't stripped. She was wearing the exact same outfit in the back of the truck as she was in the rave. I genuinely believe Hamas carried her out of the concert to get her to medical treatment. This is how demonic these people are. Hamas mass murdered people at the concert, and this person, because they're leftist, because they're radical leftist, is defending terror. They're defending terrorists that mass murder people. And notice how they're not just lying. They are inverting truth. This is, as I said, this is a tactic of the radical left. They invert truth. They don't just lie. They say the opposite of what is true. So Hamas is on camera mass killing people at the concert. And what does this person say? They were putting this raped naked woman in the back of their truck to take her to get medical treatment after mass murdering. And so even this radical leftist degenerate woman, who's been established as degenerate repeatedly, especially by her appearances on Fresh and Fit, is saying, I bet they were spitting on her broken body to clean her up from the desert. Because in the video, you can see Hamas spitting on her broken body. Parts of the left are starting to realize that they're fragmenting, that they're falling apart under the discombobulation and chaos of their own incoherence. Their ideology dictates a hatred for objective morality, a hatred for reality. That's the reason why you get people essentially typing essays that are designed to be the opposite of true and the opposite of good. That's why you see things like this. Destiny tweeted this, another radical leftist streamer, the one I told you about, when you forget to change uniforms before stream, tweeting a picture of Hasan in Hamas garb. Guys, are you waking up yet? The radical left is supporting terrorists who grape, mass murder, take hostages, and kill families in their beds. Here's a video in Michigan of a room that looks like hundreds of people all celebrating the terrorist attacks. Literally celebrating terrorist attacks. They are celebrating the attack on Israel. This one's really something. Check this one out. I want you guys to read this and think about how deep in hell these people are. This woman is walking around in life somewhere. Try to imagine how resentful her mind is, how broken, destroyed, and ravaged her psyche is from Marxism. And then understand that this is the nature of the left, and this is who they're called to be, and this is who they already are at their core. You're terrified of an anti-colonial, pro-working class American revolution because someone who's super cozy with the idea of maintaining capitalist hegemony, you've got a nice seat in the gulag waiting for you. This woman is defending, just to be clear, terrorists mass murdering women, children, taking hostages, gunning families down in their bed, attacking Ethan for condemning that, and then saying that he has a place in the gulag. You have a woman saying, your opposition to my ideology in the name of condemning terrorists murdering women, children, infants, and families will earn you a place in a gulag, which will be created to usher in the utopia because I'm a good person. That's how the leftists operate. That's how they think. Pay close attention. I'm showing this to you for a reason. You're saying you might think this is a random person. It is a random person. This random person is possessed by the radical left-wing ideology. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this, guys. In London, taking down pictures of missing people in Israel. The radical left is infuriated with objective morality. These degenerate leftists, who are also Muslim, are enraged when they look at pictures of their immorality because they're being judged, so they can't help but take them down. Look, they're taking down pictures that prove that what they did is the definition of evil, and that they aren't victims, that there are humans that are suffering that there are humans suffering as a result of their barbarism, and that judgment enrages them. They can't stand it. Look at these cowards. This is something that the world will study. Centuries from now, they'll look back and say, look at these leftists. Look at how they operated. Thinking they were the good guys, tearing down pictures of victims of terrorism while they support the terrorists. This is the left, guys. This is who the left always was. You're just seeing it now. You're just seeing it now more emboldened than ever. As a world is coming together to condemn and oppose terrorism, and also, by the way, eviscerate it from the face of the planet, these people become enraged. They become enraged for being judged. That's who these people are. Now I'm going to show you this. Pay close attention, guys. This is the left. So this person says, I salute Hamas, a job well done. When I heard the news, I smiled. These terrorists ran into Israeli homes, killed families in their beds, killed infants, killed children, and raped women. And this person said, this leftist says, I salute Hamas, a job well done. When I heard the news, I smiled. You can see that they're inverting reality in front of you. They can see that they're trying to invert morality because they live at odds with it, because they're called to live at odds with it. Watch this, watch this chilling video.
I think that we should all give an applaud right now to Hamas for a job well done.
Applaud Hamas for a job well done, is what he said.
When they woke up in the morning and they found the field hands in the house with a knife ready to cut their fucking throats.
You think that I'm lying about resentment? That's what animates these people. They're ravaged. They're destroyed. Resentment is what drives them.
I was late to the news, but when I heard it, I smiled. I don't want to hear that bullshit. 250 innocent Israelis are dead. Fuck them.
You see? I'm not making this up, guys. This is the radical left. Pay close attention. Defending terrorism, supporting evil. This is who they are.
Again, I swear, I salute Hamas. A job well done.
And those people were applauding. So these people exist, guys. They're not just they actually exist. Pay close attention. So this is what's causing the continued breakup, if you will, from the friendship and business partner of these two degenerate leftists. One is just far more degenerate than the other, but they are both possessed by the same ideology. One is just suffering a more advanced stage of the woke mind virus. And who knows? Likely Hasan was born broken or experienced some very, very traumatizing things in his life that broke him, and so that made things worse, but it doesn't change the fact. But that doesn't change what's going on. And it's very interesting, too, to see him repeatedly getting bullied and destroyed in the exact same way over and over again. He has no friends. He has no allies. And yet he repeatedly decides to brutalize himself in the eyes of objective morality and reality by supporting terrorists, not once, but twice. And so you can ask yourself why. There's a subconscious drive that these people have to feel oppressed, to be victims. Because in the ideology of Marx, you're a good person if you're a victim. You have, by default, virtue. That's how they operate. It's very strange. They are dedicated to hating objective morality because it judges them, because it invalidates their entire ideology when scrutinized. That's what they're terrified of. Having to engage in the realm of ideas, in the realm of meritocracy, where ideas have to be cogent and make sense and be in alignment and congruence with other carefully thought out ideas. They have no room for that. They have no tolerance for that. All that they have is a victimhood status hierarchy where your virtue is defined by your victimhood class. It's beyond broken, it's beyond immoral, it's evil, and it's wrong. And by the way, because it's wrong and evil, it's also worthless. So these people are supporting a worthless ideology, and you get to see the tip of the iceberg. What I just described is everything underneath the water. The tip of the iceberg that's above for everyone to see is the left supporting terrorists, the left not being able to condemn terrorism. That's why they're falling apart. They are collapsing under the weight of their own incoherence. And remember, Hasan's enraged by this. He's been tweeting, he's been enraged by this. Narcissistic, sadistic psychopaths become enraged when exposed as the immoral frauds that they are. He has no friends. He's fallen out with his only business partner, the only person that would even tolerate his presence, because his audience was almost as degenerate as Ethan's. Because their audience had a shared hatred for reality. You saw it every single time they attacked Andrew Tate. You saw it every single time they inverted reality. Every single way that Andrew Tate was impressive is every single way that they're failures. And if you couldn't tell that, if you couldn't notice that, it's because you've been captured by the left-wing ideology into hating reality. Theirs is a cult of reality denial and reality hatred. What do I mean by reality? A lot of unthinking people don't understand that reality is objective. I'm referring to the objective parameters, the objective scaffolding, the objective architecture that defines existence. There are objective parameters everywhere, from gravity to math to geometry to morality. This is what humans have strived to understand about the world. Objective parameters. That's what the left can't. It goes beyond just them not being able to tolerate it. They deny that truth. They deny truth in every single way that they can find truth, because the existence of truth actually invalidates a founding idea, a founding axiom of their ideology, which is there's no such thing as right and wrong. That's the postmodernism part of Marxism. That's why it's called postmodern neo-Marxism. Postmodernism is used by the left to support moral relativism, to say there's no such thing as right and wrong so that we don't have to be accountable to anything other than the ideology. That's what you're seeing here. And now H3 is realizing he's in a den of snakes, and he put himself there by his repeated failures. Think about this. His previous friend, his ex-friend and ex-business partner, is supporting a terrorist organization which just dozens of hours ago slaughtered babies and murdered families in their beds. That's who he was in business with. That's who the left is. And gosh, everyone's just wrecking him in real time. Absolutely wrecking Hasan. This is the reason why it's really, really unfortunate to be a sadistic, narcissistic psychopath who's also relatively low IQ. I mean, that must be a brutal existence for Hasan, because if your IQ was like above 115, you'd be able to predict that this would happen, and then you wouldn't be repeatedly embarrassed and isolated. He has no friends for a reason. Everyone's turned on him for a reason. He's been embarrassed for a reason. Dude, at this point, his existence on Twitch is a net negative for Twitch just because his reputation is so bad. He was already trading on a bad reputation because he supported Al-Qaeda after 9/11. But now, after what we saw on video, it was on video what Hamas did, and he's defending them. It's despicable, bro. It is crazy. But you might ask yourself, like I just did, if the person is smart enough to extrapolate a potential future outcome, why did he decide to do this, knowing that he would be brutally mocked by his own constituents? Because the radical left can't help but oppose objective morality. That's who they are. Look, you can see Hasan melting down, name calling the person that's pointing out the fact that Ethan basically made a pact with a den of vipers. He's enraged by this. Like I said, here's the proof. He's enraged by it because he knows that he's being judged brutally as radical, extreme, insane, and immoral. I think I'm going to end this video with this tweet from Dr. Jordan Peterson where he says, "Democrats, have you figured out yet when the left goes too far? Are you willing to say something? Not yet, eh? It'll get worse." It's going to get worse, and I think it's going to get to a point where America will be on the verge of collapse. And I think that this is just going to crescendo until the election in 2024. For the next 12 months, we're going to see such insanity from the left. I don't even know what form it's going to take because they continue to up their forms of demonization. It used to be racist. Now that doesn't work. It used to be homophobic. Now that doesn't work. It used to be Nazi. Now that doesn't work. No one takes these ad hominems seriously. Now it's being a sexual predator when they, in fact, themselves are sexual predators and trying to show children pornography and make them watch drag shows. So the inversion of reality and morality is just continuing, and it's going to get more insane and extreme. We're going to see them not just oppose truth and oppose goodness, we're going to see them invert it in ways that the world, I think, has never seen in the next 12 months. And it's just getting started. What you're seeing here is just a moment of cognitive dissonance, where part of the left is waking up and saying, wait a second, half of us are defending the most heinous thing we've seen against the Jews since the Holocaust. What's going on here? They're not even asking themselves what's going on here. They're just sort of, they've been jarred. But this is going to continue. The radical left demands total rejection of objective morality. Subscribe to the channel, guys. I appreciate you watching. Left is supporting terrorism.